toxic relationships of a young couple in love led to tragedy. The investigation showed that everything was not as simple as it seemed, and the dark secrets of the family continue to come to light right now. Nahir Galarza was born on September 11, 1998, in the city of Gualeguaychú, Argentina, which has a population of about 40%, 100,000 people. This city borders Uruguay and is famous for its carnivals. Since childhood, Nahir was a very sociable, cheerful girl. She had a brother, Aaron, who was 3 years younger than her. Her brother had developmental delays and struggled with learning, unlike his sister. Later, he was declared disabled. Nahir did well in school and found language learning easy. Their family was exemplary, strong, and happy. The house was always in perfect order. Their mother taught them cleanliness from childhood. Nahir was obsessed with cleaning, order, and hand washing. Her father was a police officer. The parents were not strict. On the contrary, they spoiled their children. Nahir dreamed of becoming a lawyer, and after finishing school, she enrolled in university at the faculty. The girl loved sports and went to training and massages every day to maintain her perfect figure. Nahir had many girlfriends with whom she went to parties. In 2012, at the age of 14, she met 15-year-old Fernando Pastorizzo at a bowling alley. Fernando was born on January 3, 1997, in the same city of Gualeguaychú, Argentina. He was a good, cheerful, active guy from a decent family, loved animals, and Nahir liked him. The teenagers started dating. Their relationship was complicated. They often fought and broke up but got back together after a few days. They were both jealous and distrusted each other, which was the cause of their conflicts. In 2016, they went on a trip to Brazil with Nahir's family, which went great. They barely fought and enjoyed the vacation. It seemed like everything was getting better, but the problem only grew. They continued to fight, break up, and then make up. On Christmas Eve 2017, the couple went to a party at that same bowling alley. 20-year-old Fernando and 19-year-old Nahir were there separately with their own friends. As it turned out, they had fought before the party, so they weren't together. A fight broke out at the bowling alley between Fernando and another guy, Rafael. The exact reason for the fight isn't entirely clear because Nahir, Fernando, and their friends gave different versions. Fernando texted his friends that he had been brutally beaten, while Nahir said Fernando had just gotten jealous of her with another guy and attacked him. On December 28, 2017, Nahir went for a massage and afterward realized her phone had died. She remembered she had left her charger at Fernando's place. The girl went to his house and stayed with him. At night, Fernando drove her home after the massage. At dawn, a passing taxi driver found Fernando bleeding out. The taxi driver called the police and an ambulance. By the time help arrived, it was too late. He had died. The police who arrived at the crime scene discovered that Fernando had been shot twice near his motorcycle, with 2 helmets lying nearby. The news spread quickly, and at 7 a.m., Nahir woke up, learned about it, and posted a photo with him on her social media page. She captioned it, "5 years together, fights, breakups, and makeups, but always with love. I love you forever, my angel." Fernando's mother called her and asked what had happened, but Nahir didn't know. The police began gathering evidence at the crime scene and the murder investigation. The initial theory of a robbery was dismissed because the money Fernando had on him wasn't stolen. This was a quiet, safe neighborhood with low crime rates. So who could have killed the guy? Who had a motive? It turned out Fernando had been shot with a 9mm pistol, a weapon typically used only by police. Could a police officer have killed him? It was also determined that the guy had first been shot from behind at close range. He was likely giving someone a ride when he was shot. Then he fell off the motorcycle and the killer approached and shot him in the heart from the front. Could it have been someone he knew? This theory was supported by the presence of the second helmet. Police reviewed surveillance footage from all nearby cameras and found a girl leaving the area at 5:22 a.m. Her face wasn't visible. Nahir became a suspect. She was called in for questioning. She confidently stated that Fernando had driven her home at night. She took a shower and went to bed, then woke up at 7 a.m. and learned about the tragedy. That's when she posted the story expressing her sorrow for Fernando. Nahir looked very upset and cried. Investigators had no further questions for her. The police then decided to question her father, a fellow officer who claimed he didn't know Fernando at all. But this turned out to be a lie. Photos from their trip together were later found. Police suspected the father might have been involved in the crime and lied about not knowing the guy. They were already considering the possibility of police involvement due to the gun. The father's gun was taken for testing, and it turned out that it was the one used to kill Fernando. Nahir's father became the prime suspect. Investigators speculated about his possible motive. The father likely disapproved of his daughter Nahir's relationship with Fernando and may have killed him out of anger. But then the case took an unexpected turn. Nahir herself confessed to killing Fernando to protect her father, who was about to be arrested. She claimed she had been a victim of physical abuse by Fernando. That night, he had grabbed her by the hair and drove her home, so she shot him. But how did she even get a gun? It was clearly a premeditated crime if she brought a weapon. As it turned out, Nahir had stolen her father's service gun from the fridge and put it back after the murder, so her parents never suspected her. She was the one caught on surveillance footage. Police asked her why she ran away, tried to cover her tracks, and didn't call the police or an ambulance if she was innocent. Nahir replied that she panicked in the moment, didn't think Fernando would die, and didn't realize the severity of the situation. And when she found out she had killed him, she became very upset. Her friends and his friends gave conflicting testimonies. Her friends blamed Fernando for everything, as Nahir had constantly complained to them about him, while his friends blamed Nahir. Some even claimed that they could hardly be called a couple because they spent much more time apart than together. Nahir had 5 other boyfriends she had dated, and Fernando may have also had other girls. Fernando and Nahir's text messages were analyzed, and based on their exchanges, it seemed that Fernando was more the victim in this relationship. Nahir was very aggressive and threatened him, while the gentle and kind Fernando complained about being beaten when he tried to break up with Nahir. He was tired of the relationship and just wanted a peaceful life without her. Perhaps that's why Nahir decided to kill him, to take revenge for Fernando wanting to leave her. Later, Nahir claimed she had accidentally shot Fernando while holding the gun. Allegedly, they both fell off the motorcycle, and that's when the gun fired the first time. Then she picked up the weapon, and it accidentally fired at him again. This sounded completely implausible. A ballistics expert ruled out any possibility of 2 accidental shots. Even if the first shot had been accidental, the second was definitely intentional. Surveillance footage also showed her walking home at a normal pace. She covered more than 20 blocks. She wasn't in the state of shock and confusion she later claimed to have been in after the accidental shooting. A handwriting analysis was conducted. The expert determined that Nahir had significant emotional imbalance with egocentric, manipulative traits. Her handwriting reflected a signature that showed a major emotional imbalance she had tried to suppress but failed. Based on her handwriting, Nahir was not as simple as she first appeared. The girl had a very contradictory, complex, domineering, and aggressive personality. It turned out that at 16, she had staged her own kidnapping as a joke to scare her parents. They were horrified when they found out it was a prank. Before the trial, Nahir underwent a psychiatric evaluation. The psychiatrist concluded, "She is an absolute narcissist, hot-tempered, aggressive, and shows no remorse for what she did." She was diagnosed with obsessive-compulsive disorder due to her fixation on cleanliness. At the trial, Nahir behaved defiantly. She wore shorts, looked at everyone with arrogance and disdain, constantly adjusted her hair, and flirted with those present. She continued to insist it was self-defense, but no one believed her. Her mother defended her, while her father later disowned her. There was no evidence that Fernando had ever physically abused Nahir. The prosecution presented their version of events. Around 2 a.m., Fernando drove Nahir home. They went inside and argued for about 2 hours. He wanted to break up, but she refused. She secretly took her father's gun, and they rode off. On a dark, empty street, she asked him to stop. She got off the motorcycle, shot him in the back, then shot him again as he lay on the ground. She then walked home, showered, washing off blood spatter and gunpowder residue, put the gun back on the fridge, changed clothes, and went to bed. Nahir was found guilty of murder and sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 35 years. She could be released at age 54. She became the youngest female lifer in Argentina. She filed 3 appeals, all rejected. Now, 23, Nahir claims she's innocent and that her father, who shot Fernando with his own gun, was the real killer. But if so, why didn't her father appear on surveillance footage while Nahir, who claimed to be home, did? What was she doing there? Her mother divorced her father and insists she believes her daughter. Nahir now says she feared her father and an uncle who allegedly raped her, so she took the blame. She claims her father was abusive and that she now fears for her mother and disabled brother, who relied on her for future care. She has filed a lawsuit against her uncle. The case sparked massive public debate. Locals were deeply divided. Some still support Nahir and believe in her innocence, while others don't. Nahir didn't just kill Fernando. She destroyed her own life, her future, and her brother's. Her parents had hoped she would care for him, but instead she failed her entire family.